Hey everybody, I'm Canadian Operator, and this is the Smith & Wesson M&P FPC. It is a folding 9mm pistol caliber carbine. Definitely a very nice design, and we're going to be talking about it today extensively from front to back in my full review. If you haven't seen my range day video, do make sure to go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the top right hand corner of your screen. And before we get started, thank you so much to my buddy Leon for helping to make this possible, allowing me to borrow this, take it out to the range, and have some fun with it at home as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the review, and if you do, please make sure to become a subscriber if you haven't done so already. It does really help the channel quite a bit, and join the conversation down in our Discord. The link's in the description. Thanks again for watching. Let's go ahead and get started with the review. All right, so here we go. The M&P FPC, definitely a bit of a mouthful, but we're going to go ahead and get started at the barrel end. See if I can get a little closer here for you, and we'll work our way to the back. So first things first is we have a nice little thread protector here because we do have a nice 18.5-inch threaded barrel, and this is going to be the non-restricted version of it. We do also have a restricted version as well. And moving a little further down, of course, we have a really nice little hand rest here. This is going to be pretty much all M-LOK, as you can kind of see there. See if I can get a little bit more light on it for you. So it'll be pretty much M-LOK all the way around, so you can put all of your accessories there. We've got M-LOK on the bottom here as well, so that's really nice to have. And we've got a nice full pick rail on the top, so you can put all sorts of accessories and stuff like that up there as well. Definitely nice to have this above the barrel as opposed to back here like we have on the Ruger. That's actually one of the things that I like about this over my Ruger PC carbine. And if you'd like to see maybe a comparison between this and that, do let me know in the comments. However, the reason why I think it's a better idea to have your rails and sight pictures and everything, or your sight systems up here, is because essentially it's on the front folding part of the gun. Right, and so you don't want to have any discrepancies where you're going to have, you know, your brake is going to be right there. That's going to be your hinge. So if you were to put, for example, an optic up here, even though the hinge is a much better system, again, one of the things that I like more about this than I do on my Ruger, the Ruger basically just completely twists and comes off. This has a hinge, which means pretty much down to probably 99.999% of the time it's going to be coming back into exactly the same position. And that's really important because you want to try to maintain that sight picture that you've sighted in with your sight, whatever that might be. In this case, I was using an EOTech 512 and the range day video. If you haven't seen that, make sure to go check it out. But yeah, the important part about having your sight up here is that you're putting it on the front end of the barrel, basically the business end, right? And so if you have a slight amount of movement in this hinge and you've got your sight back here, you may have to account for that, and it might reduce your accuracy a little bit. So that being said, let's go ahead and move a little bit further down. We're going to be talking about this part of the firearm next. This is going to be your hinge, so I'll kind of bring that up a little bit for you to be able to see that a bit better. So you've got a little lever on this side, and then you've got, of course, the other side there. You can see how that looks like. So basically what we're going to do is with our 3 fingers on the grip, thusly, okay, we're going to keep obviously our trigger finger outside of the trigger guard and off the trigger at all times. And then we're going to use our thumb to push on this. So let's see if I can get a little closer here for you. We're going to push that, and then we're just going to fold out of the way. And the really cool way that this folds is, as you can see, we've got our charging handle here, and we've got our M-LOK slot here, and that literally just folds like that. Give it a little bit of pressure, and there we go. Now we're nice and folded, and this can stow in the bag, which I'll show you in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and unfold this now. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to point the barrel in a downward position. I usually like to grab under the magazines here because we have a couple of mags, as you can see there. So I like to put my ring finger under that and use that as leverage to pull that charging handle down just a little bit, and then you're going to open it up and just snap it forward, and then you're nice and locked. So that's actually a really nice system. We will get to the magazines in a little bit. If you've seen the range video, then you've probably also seen the pinned comment, and if you missed that pinned comment, go back to that range video and check out that pinned comment. I'm not going to repeat what I said here. However, there was a mistake made in that video, and I've rectified and learned from that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the pinned comment, and if you have any comments about that, do leave it on that video itself there. So moving a little bit further down here, we've got our pistol grip. And this is actually quite a nice little pistol grip. See if we can get a little bit of a closer look. There we go. Get some light on that. So on the back of the pistol grip here towards the back, let's see if I can show you just like that as well, all the way back here, and on the other side, there we go. Right, we've got a nice texture on here, and that feels pretty good. The front end is a little bit flat here, as you can kind of see. So that's a bit flat here, which would have been nice to have maybe a couple of finger grooves in there, but that's okay. And then we've got this part of the magazine. So if I actually release this, let's show you what that looks like, right? So we have the magazine here, and this is the bottom part of the mag right here. Now, one of the things that I don't like is that without the magazine, as you can see there, my hand just kind of goes a little bit over the edge of the pistol grip. The pistol grip is kind of short as far as pistol grips go. So what this does when you put that magazine in is that little piece right here is going to extend. There's a little piece here that moves around, and when you snap that in, that gives you a little bit of a bevel here, and that also gives you a little bit of extra space. And so for someone like me with larger hands, if I'm gonna, bring this up to my shoulder like that, I've got that little bit of extra space on the bottom there where I can have a little bit more comfort. One of the things that I don't like about this firearm is that you need the magazine in order to do that, and this thing just kind of flops around. As you can see there, right? Of course, all of our magazines are going to be empty, including the ones in the back. And we're going to be pointing this, of course, in safe directions here as we're filming. There's nobody else in here with me, but that's besides the point. What I'm talking about here is the comfort, and I find that the comfort with the magazine in is pretty good. But with the magazine out, obviously you're not going to be doing anything with the magazine out. You need the magazine in for this thing to do what it's designed to do. But I just wish that we could kind of omit this cheap feeling piece of plastic that just kind of moves around like that. And then, either build a little bit more of this into the bottom of the magazine, or just make the flared magwell a little bit larger so that it's not really a problem. I feel like this was probably something designed to save a little bit of money. But again, it just kind of feels cheap. And on a Smith & Wesson like this, you don't want to be kind of getting that feeling of cheapness from it. You want to get a feeling of quality. So I don't know, I've been spending way too much time on that, but that's just one of the things that I didn't like too much. Let's talk about the trigger. And before the trigger, we have our safety. So our safety is going to be just right over here. So we've got this is going to be safe, and then if you push it in from the right to the left, that's going to be hot. And as you can see on the other side here as well, push that in and out. And the safety is pretty good. It's actually got a solid click. It's definitely very tactile. You know when you've pushed the button, and that's very good as well. And we do also have another safety here. I'm not sure if you're able to see that too well. Let's see if I can hold that up for you, but we do have that little Glock style trigger safety in here as well. So you're gonna have to basically push that in order for you to do anything. Otherwise the trigger will not pull. So that's kind of nice. It's definitely good to have an inbuilt trigger safety. For some of you Glock guys, you might be used to that already. For somebody who hasn't owned a Glock, it'll feel a bit alien. To me personally, and if we were just to kind of shoulder this up a little bit here, it just kind of feels, I don't know, it kind of feels a bit mushy to me. It feels like we're going all the way from here, still going, and then the trigger movement doesn't start for about a couple of millimeters or so. And so when you've got your charging handle pulled back, again, that's going to be back here. So we'll charge that. That actually stays back because the magazine is in there. So we're going to let that forward, put the magazine back in, and we know there's nothing in here. We've already done a prove on this firearm. And if I were to just grab that trigger there, and basically, yeah, it just feels pretty mushy because of that. But the brake is pretty crisp. It's pretty solid. So I like the brake, I like the reset. I just, I'm not a big fan of these kinds of trigger-based safeties because they kind of make the trigger just feel kind of mushy. As far as the actual trigger feel goes though, when you get to that wall, you pull, you get the brake, which is very crisp, and then you get a very pronounced reset. Yeah, that feels pretty good. It feels pretty solid. And I definitely have some faith in the quality that Smith & Wesson is putting out with the trigger. But again, that trigger-based safety, I'm not a huge fan of it, and this is going to be something that's going to be really down to your personal opinion, whether you like it or not. We're going to move a little further down now, and we're going to talk about a couple of other things. We've got a little bolt release here. I'm not sure if you're able to actually see that right there, but you can release your bolt with that. Essentially, you've got to pull it back, push that down, and then the bolt will come forward. And again, we do have it set up so that if you pull the bolt back, you do have a last round hold open here, so we can see that we've got our ejection port right there, and we do have that magazine in. So as long as we take that magazine out, that will drop forward again, and you'll be able to chamber your round as well if you happen to have a full magazine. So definitely nice to have that as well. Again, the gun will just stay nice and open for you, and if you're done shooting your magazine, you want to leave this on the bench rest, you want to put a chamber flag in there, walk away, whatever, then you know it's going to be open for you when you're done shooting that magazine and you're all out of ammo for that magazine. So that's definitely nice. Moving a little bit towards the back here, we can see, I'll show you this way here, we've got a pretty nice little charging handle. Now this could have been a little bit longer, but I understand why it wasn't. This is a very compact, portable kind of gun, or at least it's supposed to be. And I have kind of bigger than average hands, and you know what they say about big hands, right? Big gloves. Oh yeah. But in any case, yeah, we've got a pretty decent charging handle here. The fact that it's got both nubs on there, both the left and the right, is nice. That's going to be kind of good for folks who are ambidextrous. The safety is good for that as well, because the safety does go both ways. It pushes in from both sides. Of course, one is going to be doing one thing and the other is going to be doing something else. One is going to be safe, the other one's going to be fire. That being said, I mean, you're not going to be using this very often, but your handle here for breaking the rifle down is only going to be on the right side. You've just got the hinge on the left. So really the only thing that's truly ambidextrous here is going to be that charging handle. And what's really cool is, I mean, if you really want to, it's going to be kind of awkward, but you know, you can charge it with 2 fingers if you really want to do that, or you can do it just with 1. So if we let that drop forward again, in fact, I think I'll just leave the magazine out for now as we talk about this, so we can kind of do this over and over without having to keep taking the mag out and putting it back in. You can charge it from this side, or if you feel like it, you can charge from this side as well. So this honestly feels a bit weird for being a right-handed shooter. This definitely feels a little bit better, especially since you've got your hand on that grip there. You're able to really control the muzzle, especially since the front end of this gun is pretty light and the rear is a little heavier. And yeah, we're going to get to that next. So we've got our buttstock here, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Maybe this way. Yeah, there we go. So that is the buttstock. And this is going to be all plastic here, so there's absolutely no rubber to be had on there, which is okay. This is not going to be, you know, the most sort of craziest recoiling gun that you've ever fired. It's only a 9mm 9x19 para, so it's not going to be anything serious. But it would have been nice, Smith & Wesson, to have a little bit of rubber on the back there. Even Magpul does that. Like, they have their basic, you know, MOE stocks, and they've even got just a little bit of, you know, arguably very hard rubber, but there's rubber instead of just plastic. So it's just nice to have that there, right? I've got that on my PC carbine. It feels really nice. It feels like you can at least get some grip. If you're just kind of wearing a t-shirt and you're kind of sweaty and you're out there in kind of warm weather, I do feel that it can feel a little loose in there. So it'd be nice to have a little bit of rubber on the back, or at least maybe an aftermarket one that you can purchase. Then you can just kind of slap on the back there. But I digress. Let's go ahead and talk about this. This is really, really cool. So I'm not sure if you're able to see that too well, but we've got 2 extra magazines here, and we've got a little sort of rocker switch here. So with the rocker switch, we can push on this side, and then this magazine will come out. And if we push on that bottom side, then the top magazine will come out. All right, so I'll just push the top here, and then we'll be able to slide that magazine out. So there we go. We've got a nice empty mag there, that one back there, and then we'll hold the bottom and slide that out as well. There we go. This is great. It's great as a bug out gun because you're able to kind of just put 2 extra mags in there. You can have one in your pistol grip as well, although it should not be loaded. But that being said, you know, you can basically take this anywhere you want and bug out with it and get out of Dodge for your zombie apocalypse guys. You know, this is probably going to be a decent one for you. But for the rest of us, probably good for home defense or taking out to defend yourself against maybe potentially some wild animals or something like that. Maybe some light pest control, and then definitely a whole lot of plinking, because this is really good for that. Okay, so with your M&P FPC, you're going to be getting a nice little bag like this. I'm just kind of trying to open that up for you. And of course, you've got your gun's going to go on one side here. You've got a couple of tie-down straps. And then on the other side here, we're going to have a bunch of pockets. And this is going to be really more than enough for you to put in a couple of extra mags, to put in some ammunition, maybe a couple of cleaning supplies, things like that. There's definitely lots of space in here. We've got 3 pockets. We've got a small one on the top, a medium one kind of in the middle, and then we've got sort of a combined double pocket here. So let me just turn around. I've taken some of these things out already, so I'm not making a ton of noise on the camera, and show you guys what's included with your M&P FPC. All right, so first and foremost, you're going to be getting one of these. This is going to be basically just a little shoulder strap that you can kind of just attach to the bag and carry that over your shoulder if you don't want to just carry it vertically, which I got to be honest is a bit of a weird way to do it. You do get a nice little chamber flag here as well, which is great. Some places this is optional, other places it's pretty much mandatory, and so the fact that they include one here is kind of nice. Nice cheap little piece of plastic, but it really does help with regards to safety. All right, next thing you're going to get is going to be one of these, and actually you're going to be getting quite a few of these, just a handful, I think about 3 or 4 of them, in addition to the one that comes pre-installed on the firearm, and these are just textured sort of rear grips for the rear side of it, which is kind of weird, but I guess it kind of makes sense. They're different sizes for different hand sizes. They do kind of feel a bit flimsy, but other than that, I think once they're on there, they're on there. There's quite a lot of texture on the back there as well, so that's going to help with getting you a good grip, hence the name. And yeah, having a few of these tossed in as extras, definitely a nice thing to see. All right, and last but not least, we're also going to be getting a nice little cable lock here. This is a green one. I don't know if they come in different colors, but you do get that one included, as well as, of course, all of your instructional documentation or everything for your FPC. So it's going to be pretty straightforward, pretty bare bones, but you are getting a couple of nice little extras. You're getting that cable lock, you're getting those little extra grips and stuff like that, and a carry strap, as well as a really nice bag with a couple of really solid tie-down straps. So pretty good offering here for the price that they're asking. That being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and become a subscriber. If you've not done so already, join us on Discord. The link's down below. And if you haven't entered our giveaway for our 1,000 sub giveaway, details on that is going to be in a pinned comment on Discord, so do make sure to join our Discord for that. Okay, so that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one, and until then, happy shooting.